Yo, what's up, Falcons fam? Hey, it's your boy Toby D. You already know what it is. It's pound for pound. I want to try another live podcast here today, man. Talk about these Atlanta Falcons as we get ready to head into week 9 of the season, facing off in our first divisional game of the season. It's funny how the schedulers set things up, and you got us playing the NFC North for 3 straight games, and then took us into the AFC East for all 4 games in a row, back to back. And if y'all give me a second, I'm gonna come back and continue to talk about that as we get ready to go into this week 9 event coming up Sunday at 1 o'clock up in a Bank of America Stadium. Just hold on one second, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, man. I'm back. I had to get a few more things set up for me so I can see what y'all talking about as we get ready to get into this game. Y'all have to excuse me. You know, I usually don't do the preview anymore, man. So I'm following a hard act coming behind JR as I fill in for him this week. He had some things he had to do, so he was unable to really get in on this. And I appreciate all that he does, man. And I thank y'all for viewing and listening to him and welcoming him to the channel. You know, we was formerly Faith Football fans and now Pound for Pound, man. And we really appreciate everyone that takes their time out to really listen to us when we know there are many others that you could choose to tune your ears into. So we appreciate that, man. Continue to share, like, comment. Please comment. We enjoy that. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification so you can make sure that you get any things that we come out with and we talking about anything pertaining to the Atlanta Falcons. Let's get into it, man. We saw what happened last week, which to me was very encouraging. I saw some great things come out of that in that game, and I'm hoping that those things continue to carry over into this Carolina game. And many of you know what I'm talking about. Fortunes have not been good to us starting off the season. We won the first 3 games, although a few of those games, many could say we could have easily lost, especially the Chicago Bears game. But we pulled it out and we got 3 wins, only to go into the AFC East and start getting manhandled all the way up until we faced the Jets. Many of you should be encouraged about getting that win against the Jets. And I said this before, I was not going to shortchange us despite what the Jets are and what many people think they are. We got a win against a team that was running the ball down people's throats. I mentioned this on the last video. And we were able to go in there and stop them from running the ball only 43 yards. And as you can see, if many of you watch the game, you love the NFL, and you don't just watch the Atlanta Falcons, you saw Thursday night what the Jets did to the Buffalo Bills, a team that was pretty decent against the run up until they played their division foes in the New York Jets, who ran that ball all down their throats, which we were able to prevent from happening. So you should definitely feel encouraged by that, knowing that you were able to slow down that potent run attack that the Jets had going into that game in week 8. But now we head to week 9. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is, a game between 2 teams that really, if you ask me, they're not doing anything to pop off a paper on me. And I say that because I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, but also at the same time, I'm going to tell the truth about my team. Neither team has really done anything to make you say, oh, they can run away with this division. As a matter of fact, both of us are looking up at, shockingly, the New Orleans Saints right now, who are currently sitting at 5-2 in the division. Albeit we could all argue they played against some teams that they should have been able to beat, teams that they've struggled beating in years past, which is the reason why they went 7-9 the last 4 seasons. So this is actually a huge change for them. They got some guys over there right now coming out of their draft that are seeming to shine for them right now, especially Alvin Kamara, which is a reason why they let Adrian Peterson go and traded him off to the Arizona Cardinals. And they're on a roll right now, and there's nothing we can do until we get ready to play them. I believe week 14, I want to say. Somebody know what date that is on the schedule or what week it actually is. I think it's later on that we have to play them. Please let me know and comment and let me know when that is we play the Saints. But right now we're getting into a Panthers game where you got 2 quarterbacks that really have not flashed off the scene. And it's quite interesting, the similarities between the two. Both, you know, of course, were former MVPs. And to me, Cam Newton is still not playing MVP level. Matt Ryan is kind of struggling. And as you can see, going into the offseason, you heard about the Panthers. You know, they went and drafted McCaffrey, Christian McCaffrey, that is. Went and drafted a guy named Curtis Samuel. And it had a lot of people's heads scratching their heads at first. But, you know why they did it. They wanted to help Cam Newton evolve, and what your son Ron Rivera was saying, that they wanted to see their quarterback evolve more. They didn't want him running the ball much, which is not happening because Cam Newton, as you know, is still running the ball, especially when they have surprisingly struggled in the run game, which is usually a strength of theirs and has been, especially since Cam Newton has gotten there. Now, us, on the other hand, when in the run game, we've been doing fairly well in that area and running the ball. Now, I know Devontae Freeman has not had a lot of 100-yard games. As a matter of fact, I don't know if he's had one. I think he may have had one, as well as Julio Jones has had only one 100-yard game as far as receiving. Now, we don't know how that's going to go down again in this game against the Panthers. But what we do know is we're still getting production out of these guys, despite the fact that their stats are not flashing off the screen, so to speak. So it is what it is at that point. We're still winning games. Right now, we are 4-3. And one could say, you know, that's kind of luck. But regardless of the matter, luck counts. And I'll take it any way I can get it at this point, especially with how we have struggled going into the season. So with that being said, give me a second here. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, excuse me, man. It's that time of season, man. I got some things going on in my throat, so just bear with me. But you know, like I said, with that being said, man, it's a game right now with Cam Newton that I'm definitely looking forward to finally getting some interceptions. As you all very well know, if you look at both of these teams, like I said, they are so similar. Albeit both defenses have played pretty solidly when it comes to total defense. Of course, the Panthers are ranked a little higher than the Falcons, which I guess I better not shortchange that. They're right now, I think, in the top 3 or 4 defenses, and the Falcons are just hanging on the outside right now. Hey, what up, D-Pack and Marty Young? What's up, y'all? Glad to have y'all on. Laffy Taffy Lover. Are you guys not seeing anything, or because I'm seeing some people saying they aren't able to see it? Let me know what's up. Are you guys still not? Are you not hearing anything, or are you not seeing anything? Just let me know. Because I definitely hate for that not to be happening. Now, if you all are looking for a picture, I am going to say this: I don't have my video up. It is definitely just our tag that we use to put up. So if you were looking for that, that is probably why you don't see anything. But yes, that is what you see. It's the logo. That's exactly what you see. I don't normally do a lot of live stuff. I'm just going to let you know because I don't yet have the best capabilities where I can get the best quality. So that's kind of why, just to let you know behind the scenes, why I do the podcast that I do with the audio, and I do my live. Now, hopefully, eventually, I will get to that point, which is one of the reasons why my brother, JR, is able to do it, because he's a little bit more involved on that side of it. So I do apologize, guys. This is kind of a last minute thing, and I'm kind of jumping in on a live stream doing this because I wasn't able to kind of set things up with my podcast where I like to use my music. So I do apologize for that. So, you know, please forgive me on that end, because this is probably how it goes down, especially, you know, when I have to come in and do these kind of previews on the team. So, you know, jumping back into it, man. What's up, AR10? What's going on with you, man? Glad to have you in. We just got to go into this game, and we got to play well. I'm really hoping that we can take the momentum that we had against the Jets, albeit in the rain, and carry it over. This team, to me, finally started looking like they were getting a little bit more comfortable with Steve Sarkisian. I don't know if you all saw that or not, but we started seeing a little bit more confidence in the game plan, other than the fumbles that we could probably chalk that up to the rain, because it rained the whole game hard and heavy. They did a pretty good job. The passing game finally looked a little bit more fluid, like I would like to see it, albeit not there yet. But I think we're starting to see some key things now about what Sarkisian is doing and who he's trusting as we go forward. One of those guys is Austin Hooper. You heard Matt Ryan all offseason talking about Austin Hooper is going to take the next step. And we definitely need Austin Hooper to continue to grow. We've seen him miss some passes that he should have caught. One of them we know in the Miami game, that was a crushing way to lose that game when we're right there in scoring range. And then we saw in the Jets game, albeit he had a pretty decent game, and it was raining, he should have still caught that touchdown pass in the end zone. And, you know, he didn't do it. He would have had 2 touchdowns on the day. But however the case, he's only in his 2nd season, and he's still growing. So let's hope he continues to grow. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're not seeing Taylor Gabriel, other than a few plays that he's been able to bust out on earlier during the season, get it going. One of the reasons, I believe, because Austin Hooper has become a bigger part of a guy that Steve Sarkisian can really trust. You saw finally Julio Jones catch a deep pass. Matt Ryan finally not hesitating with the ball, but letting it go and trusting his receiver to get it. We need to carry that over into this Panthers game. Now, we know the Panthers are a team that also, like us, don't allow a lot of big plays to happen on them. But I'm hoping that the Falcons can find a way, even though both opponents are very familiar with each other, to get some things, continue to open up and get it going. Now, we don't know how Worley and Bradbury is going to do against Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu. But as you have seen, Sanu has been a big, huge factor for Steve Sarkisian and his offense, especially in this last game, which I believe arguably was his best game this season. So I'm hoping that continues. I don't always remember Sanu doing that well when it comes to the Carolina Panthers. For whatever reason, he kind of goes into hiding, and I'm hoping that this is not the game that he's going to do that. We've seen how explosive he is in the slot, and we need to be able to use that. Now, if Captain Munderland is going to be the guy on the inside, maybe Mohamed Sanu can get some things going against him and really get things rolling to help give us some kind of advantage going into a game with a familiar foe. Let's look at some things y'all got going on right now and what y'all are saying. I'm going to go into Marty Young. He talked about the play calling. He says the play calling has to not be so obvious this week, and I would love to see Witherspoon playing this week. He brings a different energy to the D. Marty Young, I agree with you. We've heard a lot about predictable play calling under Steve Sarkisian. Now, I'm going to say this. Like I said, the Jets game, I feel arguably was the better game. I don't even use the Green Bay game, and I'm going to tell you why. Because we have Green Bay's number as of right now. Just like you could say Carolina seems to have the number of the New England Patriots. But both quarterbacks, other than having the numbers of the two teams they were familiar with and going in and having a pretty good game against those two teams, they have not been that good. And it's been very similar. Like I said, you got Cam Newton coming into this game with 10 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. Now, I am a little bit relieved that Matt Ryan does not have as many interceptions as he does touchdowns, because right now he's currently sitting at a 9-to-6 TD to INT ratio. So I'm happy about that. Now, Marty Young, I also agree with you about Sean Witherspoon. I think that did play a role in the energy that the Falcons projected when they came out into that game against the Jets on Sunday. You heard Matt Ryan in his presser before that game during the week talking about how excited he was to have Sean Witherspoon back. But now, not only do we have Sean Witherspoon back, we have our man Eat Dog Eat back as well, and Leroy Reynolds. And I'm excited about that doubly, because now more energy that we've been lacking is coming to the team. So let's look at some other things. D-Pack. The strength of the Panthers is Cam's confidence on offense and the front seven on defense. We have to hit Cam often and feed Julio and Sanu and force them to defend the entire field. I agree with everything you just said, D-Pack. Yes, Cam Newton does have confidence, and as you all very well know, when he plays us, and he has admitted as much, his confidence goes out the roof. He looks forward to playing the Atlanta Falcons. Now, we know, yes, he is from here, but every time he plays us, he gets to the point, to me, where he kind of slips off into the arrogant side of things and just feel like he's really Superman and we can't do a thing with him. But I'm going to tell you this much. I believe, and I give the Carolina Panthers some credit in this, the Falcons' seasons turned around because of that drubbing that they gave us up there when we was in Carolina. And y'all remember, I know some of y'all probably don't want to go back to it, when we lost, what, about 38-0. We got blanked out, and they did a lot of crap talking and photo taking over there on the sidelines while they were dragging us through the ground. And ever since then, this team has gone to another level with playing the Carolina Panthers. Now, you just heard, if you listen to Ron Rivera's interview, his presser earlier during the week, when they asked him about the similarities between both teams, other than the similarities I've been talking about, he mentioned the Super Bowl hangover. Now, I'm sure he hopes that this is going to play a factor when we come up there to Bank of America Stadium, that a Super Bowl hangover is going to happen to us, especially since many of you already know and have heard, it's no surprising news anymore, that they traded at the trade deadline their #1 starting receiver, Calvin Benjamin, over to the Buffalo Bills, who was on the sideline on Thursday night watching the game until he gets things down over there with Sean McDermott. Now, the defense. This defense is a serious defense, and they have been for quite some time. Now, I would argue and go to say that they are not the same quite as they were under Sean McDermott, who's having some minimal success over there with the Buffalo Bills right now. But they are still a solid defense. Now, I mentioned earlier that they're not getting turnovers as well as the Atlanta Falcons defense. We've not been producing turnovers on both teams as well as we both would like. Now, this is a game, however, that could turn around for both teams, because Matt Ryan, as well as Cam Newton, is capable of throwing the ball to the other team. Now, we hope that Matt Ryan, albeit we lost that game against the New England Patriots, can continue his clean streak of at least not turning the ball from an interception standpoint over to the Carolina Panthers. Now, like I said, one could say that the rain had a lot to do with all those fumbles between him and Alex Mack. And let's hope that that is not the case if it should rain up in Bank of America Stadium. Now, I saw that it was like 40%, but that was earlier during the week. And I don't know what it is now because I have not looked at the weather, but I'm hoping that the weather holds off so that our team can go in, hopefully with another game plan from Steve Sarkisian and his staff that they can be confident in. And hopefully we can continue to see the three guys as far as from the receiving standpoint in Mohamed Sanu, Julio Jones, and Austin Hooper continue to get things going as we continue to see Steve Sarkisian develop a relationship with them, as well as using Levine Toilolo on a small role basis. So let's hope those things continue working for us as we go into this game. Let's see what we got here. AR10, it says, if we max protect, they cannot beat us. Well, I do agree with that, AR10. I do believe that we will do some of those things as we like to play, of course, multiple tight ends in the game anyway. I'm sure you're going to see more, 12 personnel. We saw that really get going in the game against the Jets. And as well, as a matter of fact, the 21 personnel. I'm not really a fan of the 11 personnel as far as the, one running back and tight end sets, because I don't believe we've had a lot of success using that personnel package, even under Kyle Shanahan, to me. Now, in certain situations, it has worked, but we've excelled when we've used our bigger base personnel groupings as opposed to our 11 personnel. And I want to see us use more 21 with 2 running backs, 1 tight end sets, 13 and 12. Now, of course, we haven't used much 13 with 3 tight ends. I think there is still some trust having to be made with Eric Salbert. So that's why you're only seeing him basically relegated to special teams, which, by the way, the special teams has been trying to wake up under Keith Armstrong. And I'm hoping maybe we can carry that over and Andre Roberts can finally get him a touchdown in this game that is not negated by a hit in the back. Let's see what else we got going on. Hey, and I'm going to tell you, Sergeant Spooner, I hope that's what it is that I said it right. Yeah, dump it off to Freeman and dump it off to Coleman. Now, hopefully Freeman, his shoulder is okay. He's said it numerous of times that there's nothing wrong with his shoulder. He wore the black no contact jersey basically mostly all week. But the other 2 days he wore it, Dan Quinn said something to the effect about he liked it so much that he decided to keep wearing it all week and kept getting asked the questions about his shoulder as well that came along with that. But yes, we should very well. Dan Quinn has made it no secret that he wants more running plays. Now, it could have been by design because of the weather conditions with playing the Jets while they ran the ball 32 times. Or it could have been by design that's what Dan Quinn wants. So we'll see how many times they run the rock in this game. And I agree with Dan Quinn. When you have two backs that are averaging over 4 yards per carry on the ground, that puts you in a great situation. Now, we could similarly see us reverting a little bit back to where we were back when Matt Ryan first got here and Michael Turner got here, running the ball first and second down, getting favorable third downs, which could be another reason why Dan Quinn wants to heavily work on third down situations with more emphasis and practices. Because if we're going to hide behind the run game, and with us running the ball still very well as we've been doing, then we need to be able to execute if we get into those 3rd and 6 and under situations. Unfortunately, we are going to be playing a Carolina Panthers team that shows up pretty well on third downs. Now, we can argue that could be because of the teams that they started out playing, but they also can be had. If you watch that game against the Jets, it looked like we were doing a pretty great job at attacking the middle of the field. And some of the things I watched on Carolina's defense, they are very vulnerable to the middle if we can hold up against those mega blitzes that they like to send at us. And you all know they are going to come. You heard Dan Quinn said that they've been working extensively with the running backs, those blitzes that we know Carolina is going to come with because it is in their DNA to do it. Let's see what else we got here, man. What's going on? Now, you know, look like we got a few trollers on here, but you know, hey, I don't mind 28-3 jokes and none of that stuff. I could care less about any of that stuff. What happened, and it's a done deal. Let's keep moving. Hey, man, I'm glad to have you in here, Reggie Callahan, man. I'm glad you made a live feed, man. Look, I don't do this often. This is probably a last-minute thing, and like I explained before, you won't probably see a video because I usually don't do the videos. But I will try to, you know, once I can get some better things going, do a couple live videos where you can see it, and you're not just looking at the logo and things of that nature. So just bear with me. Give me time to go through that. As you all know, I usually don't do this. I usually use my music behind my podcast. One, because I love to produce music, so I like to put it in my, you know, podcast when I do it. So that's one of the reasons why you hear the music like you do. Other than that, that's just my comfortable area of staying. Hey, Mario Thompson, what's going on, man? Mario Thompson asks, why do I think the Falcons didn't make any trades? Well, Mario, man, as you know, that's not something we normally do anyway. We don't make trades. Now, you know, if you know Dan Quinn, every now and then, if he sees things and he has a feel for certain things and how it's going, he will make some moves if he need to. Like we saw Ruben, who got cut by the Seahawks, and we signed him over, and he made an impact right off the rip. He didn't play the first game, but he ended up playing in the second game against the Jets, and we saw an impact, and I'm hoping that we can continue to get that impact coming into this Panthers game. So that's usually really why you don't see us making trades, Mario, because that's not really in our DNA to do it. Now, I went back to talking about Ruben. I'm glad I brought the Ruben thing up. Unfortunately, and guys, I'm gonna be real. You guys know it. Now you can try to deny it if you want to, but you know as well as I know, the Falcons usually have been good, unfortunately, of allowing teams to have struggled in certain areas to all of a sudden look great in that area. I.e., we saw it in the Miami game. They were not a good offense coming into that game, and unfortunately for us, we made them look well. Now I'm hoping very much, even with the addition of Ruben, that now we have a good handle on this run defense that we saw come out and stop this Jets team, come in here and prevent this team who has struggled running the ball, surprisingly this season, from running it. We need to shut that down and shut Cam Newton down as well. Now, whatever this new thing is that they want to do with Christian McCaffrey and Curtis Samuel, which is the reason why they're saying that they let Calvin Benjamin leave and go to the Buffalo Bills, basically trading him over there. I don't know if that's going to work if we do what we're supposed to do. Now, we know that Carolina can be a heavy screen team, and we also know then that Christian McCaffrey fits well when running those plays, especially against an aggressive Falcons defense up front, like we have with the guys and the way that Dan coaches them, him and Marquand Manuel and Brian Young to do. So hopefully we can blow those screen plays up and not allow them to really hurt us coming up on Sunday. Now, guys, we should be excited. Takk McKinley looks like he is really turning the corner and becoming a guy to be reckoned with. And this is a perfect game for Takk McKinley to thrive, simply because if anybody who is good at stopping the read option plays and things like that, he's great for it. We saw, if you watch any of his college clippings, how well he did at snuffing those plays out, read option plays and zone reads or whatever you want to call it out. I think him and Vic Beasley, who seems to love to play against Cam Newton as well, is going to have a great day come Sunday. This offensive line has allowed Cam Newton to get sacked, I think, 22 times. And that, I don't know how many times he's been hit, but I'm sure it's been an awful lot. And if the Falcons can do both of those on Sunday and disrupt some of those plays that they're looking to do and produce under this new schematic offense that they're trying to force Cam Newton into on Sunday by letting go of Calvin Benjamin, then, hey, we'll see how it goes. Let's check out a few more things. Let's see what we got here. Oh, well, I had no idea about that Atlanta tapping level, so I didn't know that Cam Newton was a favorite player of Takk McKinley. But, hey, if that is the case, especially after Takk just had, I think, a birthday or whatnot, yeah, it'd be nothing better than to sack one of your favorite players on Sunday, especially since he's turning the corner such as he is and look very good against the Jets. Oh, very interesting one. Now, I will say this much. I don't even want to attempt to pronounce your name, but you'll know who I'm talking about because I don't want to butcher it. You asked the question, will the Falcons be back in the Super Bowl? Well, I would love for them to. And I'm still holding on my hopes for this season. But, of course, as you all very well know, it has been a struggle with us trying to stay up and win games. And so I'm hoping that the momentum that we had coming out of that Jets game, like I said, we can continue it. Matt Bosher finally had a much better game compared to the last few that he's had, punting and kicking the ball. Matt Bryant had a rebound game. So a lot of guys who kind of struggled the last few games playing the AFC East opponents rebounded in the last one. And I think this could have played a role too in the Falcons not playing with a lot of energy, because Mohamed Sanu, and if you haven't seen that on Pro Football Talk, Mohamed Sanu's interview with Mike Florio, he spoke on how different that was, and he don't think he's ever gone through something like that where you played the same division all back to back to back to back. And I think that could have played a role. And I'm hoping that now that you're back in your division, which is your first game back in this division, and you're back in the conference, that the energy level now will rise to another occasion, especially if you want to keep up with what these other teams are doing and even trying to make it into the playoffs, because there are some teams currently ahead of you that right now, if the playoffs was to start today and the season was to end, you would be on the outside looking in. Oh, what's up, Ghost Peppers? It's always nice to see you, man, and have you on here, man. You've been following for quite some time, man, so I'm glad to see you in the chat here. And you asked me, do I believe that the offense has changed from last year? Yes. Now, like I said, if you watch the interview with Mohamed Sanu, he all but admitted it. It has changed, and you can tell it changed. Dan Quinn would not really commit to the scheme changing. He almost said something about the scheme would not change, but he backtracked that earlier on in the offseason when we was asked about the Super Bowl repeatedly, about how we folded. He said the playbook would be the same. Nothing would change as far as that. But schematically, things have changed. And you can tell that right now. You can tell that with the type of players now that you're seeing Steve Sarkisian build a rapport with, and is beginning to trust in his offensive scheme. And you're going to start seeing that more and more. I believe we're going to see Austin Hooper be even better as far as from a yard standpoint than he was last season. He's already gotten more catches than he did all last season with, I think, 19 total, and he's already at 22 receptions. So you're also seeing Mohamed Sanu step up, guys that Steve Sarkisian is trusting. And I think the more and more as the game plan continues with the scheme that he's put in place, you're going to start seeing him trusting those guys even more. And I look for that same thing to happen in this game against the Carolina Panthers. Let's look at a few more. Look at a few more things, and I'm not going, I'm trying not to go as long. I think I've already gone too long and then I wanted. But hey, I understand, man. When we get talking about these Falcons, we can talk for a long time, all of us. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. That's who that is. Laffy Taffy Lover. I had no idea that was you. What's up, man? Mawala Move. See, I didn't know that was you. Okay, now I know that's you. So when I see you now, I won't have to worry about finding out who that is. What's up, man? Let's see what we got here. And then we kind of gonna go on ahead and close this thing up. Well, let's roll here. Everybody wants to win Sunday. I know that much. Everybody knows that Sunday is a big game for us. And like I said before, if we want to stay in the hunt, we got to win this game. I'm just of the mindset we cannot afford 4-4. You're getting late in the season now. And you got 9 more games to go. And after this game, you're only going to have 8. You're going to be halfway through the season. I'm hoping, and I continue to say it, that this is one of those games that after that Jets game, even with all the rain that happened, that this is a game from that Jets game that we can go in with a momentum and get this win. We cannot allow this team, the Carolina Panthers, to show up over us. We have got to win this game. But, you know, like I said, man, 5-3, that's what I'm looking forward to. And I'm sure that's what y'all looking forward to at 1 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and close it down because I really don't have a lot more else to say. I don't want to just get to keep rumbling on and on, which probably, you know, I probably can find more things. But, guys, please continue to like, share, comment. I know I didn't get to everybody on here who has been commenting on the live chat stream. And like I said, man, my boy JR, he does so well with the previews now. It's kind of hard to follow him. So please forgive me if I'm not as, you know, smooth as he is and doing the previews of the game. However, I will be back doing the post game tomorrow. And this time I will try to make sure that that post game is earlier, right after the game, which will be my normal format of, you know, podcast of the music and so forth on there. Hey, other than that, that's it. Pray for a 5-3 record tomorrow. Again, it's pound for pound. Toby D, shout out to JR, man. I hope you having fun wherever you are. Peace. I'm out.